Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, TheRumpledOne, coming to you on Monday, October the 6th, the year's 2023. Let's talk trading. Trading stories we tell ourselves. Outside bars. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. Outside bars. A lot of you may have traded or heard about trading inside bars. Well, there's an indicator out there called in and out, and I didn't write it, and it would paint a stripe on the inside bars and the outside bars. Well, as you may or may not know, if you've been watching my videos this year, I came up with something that I called state changes, where, there's only 4 states that a candle can be in. And that would be an inside bar. Let's see, here's an inside bar, or outside bar, and here's an outside bar. Or it could be a higher low, higher high bar, or a lower high, lower low bar. Those are the only 4 states that there are. But I noticed something about outside bars. When price breaks an outside bar range, especially on M5, it's usually good for 5 pips or more. On M1, usually you can pick up at least one, if not, one or more. And so I've been taking these outside bar breaks. In fact, had Walmart on the line, and also had another trader, Owen, called from across the pond there in England. And we were talking, and, one of the things we were talking about was, how important money management is, and that the method really isn't all that great. And the trader was asking us about, trading on NFP day. Well, I just kept trading on NFP day, and I didn't even realize how many pips I made. But, just taking 1 or 2 pips, and I had a few 5-pippers in there, I made over 100 pips. And I don't say that to brag. I say that because when you take these methods and you don't try to be greedy, you just take what you can when you can start picking up pips over and over and over again. So you can see here, just taking that break with the candle color to the, with the line, you can see at one point, this was, I think it was 1.3 or something. There it goes again. I think it flashed 1.2. And you just take the pips. And sometimes, I'll be mad with the win, but that's better than being mad with the loss. And so, and just, seeing how this market moves sometimes, where it'll move half a pip or something against you. And when you're only looking to make a pip or two, that's a lot. So when you see that opportunity, you just, you take the jump. And so here you can see price cross to the downside. And so here's a perfect example. It gave you the opportunity. If you got in on that break and you took that up and you didn't take it, then you put some pain, then it gave you another opportunity. And so right here, here's that outside bar low of the M5. And there's over a pip that quick. And when you're looking at M1 chart, and I've got 2 instances of this outside bar plot. Now, if you have an old MT4 motherload file that I posted, you're going to have the older version of this, but it'll still do what I'm showing you for the most part. And so you can see here, that was worth almost 2 pips. There you go. And when you're looking here, you can see how price will start to, how it ranges. And I don't know what it is about the outside bars, but for me, it just shows that there's money to be made. Now, the cool thing about, the way I modified the indicator, doesn't matter what time frame you're on, you can give it a fixed time frame to plot the outside bars. So let's say you might even like to only look at M30 candles. Well, there you go. M30 was bearish at that line. Could have picked up some pips. So, that's the story that I tell myself about these outside bars. And, it really gets down to money management. Here we're going to maybe break this M30 low. It tried it. And then you can see here, this bar M30 has not been covered. And this M30 is a return bar. Just like we had this return bar here and price return. This looks like this is going to be a return bar. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. And that's what trading is. It's a lot of waiting. And then we can always look here. You see, we put in a 3-ball. We're approaching that double O level. Looks like we've cracked the 5 on the side. So we'll just see how much further down price will go. And so on these outside bar breaks, once again, I like to say on the M5, it's good for 5 or more. So it actually proved me right here. And you can just look at M5 candle if you want. And you can see it came all the way down to 2 and bounced. Once again, taking those pips when you have the opportunity. Some people might like to look at M15 or H1. Once again, it will show you the levels. And one of the things I noticed about outside bars, it might come to this level right here. Then it'll give you opportunity to actually get another short in. So you can see here, it almost touched it or did touch it, and then it reversed off of it. Just watching price action once again. So you can take your chances. As you can see here, all the candles, with the exception of H4, were red. You can use the multimeter there and see that. And so price came down, put in a 3-ball, another little story, came up and hit the 38% fib, retrace. 50% would be at 22.095. So on these outside bars, once again, you're just trading the breaks. And the candles all turned green right there. And today is a holiday here in the US of A, Columbus Day. So let's go and look at the rest of the charts and see what's going on here. Weekly, we still haven't filled a bunch of gaps. We had just a whole bunch of gap downs. I guess maybe because of the what happened over in Israel. For the month, we're 31 pips above the open, and we're in the we're outside of that lower wick zone of the previous month. We took out the weekly pivot overnight. We're still putting in the day's range. We're within the opening range of the month. And 122 pips above the yearly open. And just a few inside bars to trade on the daily, weekly, monthly. Notice though that the previous month or previous day was an outside bar. That was NFP day. So last night, no pairs were over 100 pips in range. Right now, we've got 6 pairs. And the pound's clocking in at 62 pips. You can see we're flirting with the buy zone here in the pound. 13 pips above the daily open, which is also the weekly open. Red rats, get ready to feast. And it's real interesting if you notice with the dynamic rat zone or the smart rat using a 20 percentile level, you can see it's 3 pips difference here, but with the green rat, it looks like it's less than a pip difference. As I mentioned, we took out the pivot. We're nowhere near R1. We're 7, 8 pips above that pivot at the moment. On the daily, we took that out. The weekly, we've taken out. We have not taken out the monthly pivot. And looking at H4, you can see we just left an open pivot here and an open pivot here. And there's an open pivot nearby on the upside. In and out of that lower wick zone. Last night we weren't even in a wick zone. We hadn't touched one, which is kind of unusual. And looking at the ATR chart, you can see here we're nowhere near the ATR range. Looking at H4, you can see we had a nice breakout of the previous high. H1, definitely ranges to be traded, especially if you're trading Walmart method. Looking at M30, once again, a lot of candles there. You know, looking for those candles to be covered on M30. You see we covered the previous M30. So, fellow traders, outside bar trades, simple horizontal lines. Don't look to take more than what's being given to you at the time, because it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.